Are you suffering from headaches, backaches, toothaches, restless leg syndrome, dry eyes, teary eyes, short temperature, high temperature, weight gain, weight loss, difficult family members, depression, anxiety, complacency, bad weather, or bad dreams? Or perhaps your wife is possessed by an ancient 3,000-year-old demon who seduces other men? Well, if you suffer from any of these ailments and issues, come see us at the Water of Life Church in Plano, Texas. We've got a cure for you in the preachings of our pastor, who will help shepherd you away from demons. Donations accepted.
But I realized that it was like a message, like, you don't need to spend your money right now, Jen. Like, you can't even afford, like, you know, to buy a cup of ice and sunflower seeds at Spix. You can't use.
Yeah, what the
I'm pretty
fuck?
sure the ice should have been free, first of all.
No, they charge you for the cup.
I was wondering why it took you so long.
Well, because I told you what happened with the
You
at
can't
the
even
car
afford.
shop.
You can't even afford ice.
I can afford ice. What happened was,
Are we not paying her?
okay, so when I went to pick up my car on Monday, I had enough money to cover my car in my checking account, but I wanted to use most of my checking, like most of that, but put like 150 on my credit card. So I gave my credit card first and asked him to put 150 on, and he ran the whole thing on my credit card. So then immediately I was like, well, I don't want to, like, what's it called? Well, when you like
Have a balance?
Overdraft.
yeah.
What's
not
your credit
over-
card limit?
Like $3,500, but I had like $500 left on the credit card.
Wow.
So I didn't want to like cap out or overdraft. So I made a payment of $400 that day immediately, and it didn't take out until the Friday when I bought the ice. So I had been spending my money as if it had already gone out because I made the payment to go that day on Monday. And so I had been spending my money. I was like, oh, well, okay, the $500 came out already because I made the payment that day, scheduled it for that day. And then it didn't. So that's why I couldn't afford ice.
No, I get it. Ice has gone up lately. Have you been watching the ice market? It is soaring right now.
All right. Surprise shots. Surprise shots. We don't know what they are because they're a surprise.
What was that rattling noise?
It needs to be tightened.
Yeah.
This surprise shot is for Nicholas.
Why do I have the big shot glass?
Oh my gosh.
We
I
go
knew
through
you were
this
going to complain. I knew you were going to complain. Just give it to me.
I'm going to get us a set of shot glasses that we'll just have to use every week so that they're all the same.
Well, why don't we take care of that since, you know, you have to pay for them and stuff.
Stop it. I shouldn't have said anything.
You could provide the ice for the drinks. Oh, wait. Maybe we should take care of that too. What?
Don't be a D.
Oh shit, I'm about to spill it.
Yeah, don't spill it. It's dark.
Oh.
Cheers. Cheers, Nicholas.
Nicolas Cage.
You know, I can eat a peach for hours.
Oh, that looks like coffee colada.
Oh, that was really good. You know,
That did taste like a colada.
colada.
That was Kahlua.
Welcome to Talk Murder to Me podcast.
Thank you.
I put all my links, sources, photos, videos on talkmurder.com. This is episode 248, and it is a terrible one. It's a terrible episode.
I'm assuming by
terrible
terrible you mean like super gruesome and depressing.
terrible case. Terrible.
Terrible.
But go to talkmurder.com to see the photos. You definitely want to see the photos in this case. You definitely want to see what this lady looks like. And we're also putting this on YouTube. I'll put some YouTube clippets on there. Put some YouTube highlights on there. And if you're a Patreon member, then we are actually filming this live every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can watch us film these episodes live. This weekend only. Oh, every weekend, but...
The one after Jen's party is going to be most interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to catch us next Sunday, we're going to film episodes live for you guys, and that's for our Supremo members. Be sure to go and check out them tiers on talkmurder.com/join. So
That's tears as in level, not John's tears as he cries himself to sleep.
But basically, Tacos Primos get the live streams, and they can talk to us. The next tier down, you can see the videos, the entire videos. The videos in their entirety. And for everyone else on YouTube and just fans of ours, thank you so much. You can see the highlights on YouTube when I post them on there. And usually don't have a set schedule for that.
This Strange Beast hard kombucha is what we're drinking today.
Yes.
It tastes good going down, but then there's like a weird aftertaste, and I think that's the kombucha flavor that is.
It's a vinegary type flavor.
That's why I like it going down. It's smooth, and then it's like.
All right, so let's get started.
I mean, I'll drink it. I'm not gonna like it, but I'll drink it. I mean, I'll like it when it goes down.
I liked the other one more. Yeah, their other flavor more. She reminds me of someone.
She reminds me of the lady
Mrs.
on
Doubtfire.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She reminds me of the girl from Ghostbusters. No, Sigourney Weaver. That's her name.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
her hair reminds me of that.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit.
So
I mean, that's not a compliment to this. I don't think you're describing a compliment to Sigourney Weaver.
This is who you're looking at now, and I'll put this photo on talkmurder.com. Episode 248 is Dena, Dena, like on Superstore. I had a dream about Superstore yesterday, actually.
Really?
Fuck yeah, now that I remember. Dena, Dena Schlosser, Schlosser. If you want to describe her for us.
Middle-aged female, Caucasian. She's got like a brownish hair, like golden brown hair.
No, it looks
or is it
like
reddish?
Red. Yeah,
reddish, like Sigourney Weaver.
Auburn. I don't know.
Or a strawberry blonde? No.
No, it's like darker brown. Auburn. I don't know.
What do you think happens to her?
I'm assuming she's the victim.
Okay, so this is Dena Schlosser, or I might call him Sloozer. Her Sloozer, because she's a sloozer.
That's mean.
What do you mean by sloozer?
She's a shaloozer.
What does that mean?
I don't know. You'll find out. We're starting this story tonight on the morning of November 22nd, 2004 in Plano, Texas.
Oh.
So this is Dena Schlosser. She is the mother of 3, including a newborn 11-month-old baby.
Is this is that a recent picture in 2004 of her?
No, that looks a little earlier.
Well, even then, she looks like she's a little old to have a baby.
She had a few miscarriages before, but this is her 3rd baby. And she's in this, I don't know about this photo, but when we start the story on November 22nd, 2004, she is 36 years old. So she was, 35 when she had the baby?
She looks a lot older in that photo.
She does. She looks
and
like
that is not meant to be mean, but she looks like she's 10 years older.
Well, she's got the makeup on and stuff.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think she looks a lot older.
I would say she's at least 45.
Yeah.
You know what this reminds me of? And there's a, we've covered this story. It's one of my favorite stories. It's one of my favorite murders. Anyway.
Eye roll.
It's one of my favorite stories. It is, and it reminds me of this a little bit from looking at her photo there of the Betty Gore case.
Oh, yeah.
And Candy Montgomery, which is about to be a limited series on, I believe, Oxygen or one of those crime channels. And Candy Montgomery, the one that kills Betty Gore with an axe, if you guys don't remember that, I think we titled it.
That was early on, wasn't it?
I think we titled that Desperate Hacked Wives. You can go check that out. But she, the killer, is being played by the girl from Mad Men and The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, Elizabeth Moss.
Yeah. She's playing...
No, Elizabeth Olsen. One of the two.
I don't think... I think you had it right the first time.
That girl is playing Candy Montgomery. It's supposed to be a fantastic show. It looks great. Anything
She's
with
a
her
great actress.
She is. I
did not watch the latest season yet.
Really?
So.
It's good. I will have to say that when it comes out, I didn't even know that this was happening. Can we watch it when it comes out since we covered that story?
No.
Oh.
He's lying.
What the fuck?
We've
I don't
already
know.
watched it.
I don't know.
I mean, we've already covered the story.
Are you old enough? What are you trying to say?
We're not allowed to watch true crime if we haven't covered the case.
All right, the morning.
So that would qualify. You're allowed to watch it, Jen.
Okay, so I guess I'll have to download that app then. The Oxygen app.
Don't do that.
Okay.
He knows you can't control yourself.
I don't know if you have enough room on your phone with the TikTok on there and the billions of stupid ass videos.
Okay, how do you even know that I've been watching TikTok? Number one. It's not like I send you guys videos anymore because you told me not to, which is really sad because there are videos on there that I'm like, they would really appreciate
It's
this.
nothing but a bunch of narcissistic Gen Zers. I don't know.
Well, what are we? We're listening to our own selves
We're
talk right now.
millennials.
I know we're millennials, but
Yeah, but at least I can admit that I'm narcissistic. On November 22nd, 2004, she's in her home, Plano, Texas. It's the morning time. She is sitting at the chair in her lazy boy chair. She's reading the Bible, as she always does. However, she's been up for a few days, 3 or 4 days.
Straight?
Not straight, but she hasn't been sleeping for
she's
4
got a
days.
baby.
Well, she's got an 11-month-old baby.
Okay, so she ain't sleeping well.
Yeah. And she kept reading the Bible, and there was one verse specifically that got stuck in her head. And this verse is from Matthew chapter 5, verse 30. If you want to read this, Jen.
A reading from the book of Matthew. If thy right hand offended thee, cut it off and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that the one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 30. If thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell.
Sounds intense.
That is the quote, Matthew 5, verse 30, that was stuck in her head for 4 days. 4 days, this quote was stuck in her head. She could not get it out. She didn't know what it meant. Like, what does it mean? What does it mean? Interpret that for us, Jen.
Well, I think that if...
And also Van Gogh said this same thing right before he cut his ear off.
Well, I think that if you did something wrong... Well, in this, if you want to take it literally, then it says to cut your right hand off, and if you did something wrong, like if your right hand did something wrong, cut it off. It's better that the hand is gone than your whole body be punished.
So right now we're going to read a dialogue. Now this is from the Dallas Observer, which, before I go on with the episode, a lot of my research comes from this one long read. It's like 12 pages. A reporter wrote about this case, and it's pretty much the best source to find any information from this case. So that is the credit to the Dallas Observer. We're actually going to be reading from that article, and I'll obviously post those under the sources section at talkmurder.com. Let me tell you before we read this what's going on. She is sitting at her chair. She's reading the Bible. She's been up for 3 or 4 days. That Bible verse is in her head. The phone has been ringing all morning. Her husband has been calling, and her best friend. The best friend is going to be who, Nicole, you're going to be reading.
Okay.
Her dialogue. This friend's name is Caroline Thomas. And Jen, you're going to be reading her lines.
Okay.
Dena's lines. That's her name, Dena.
Was there a reason why they were calling her off the hook? Like, were they worried about her or something?
Yeah, oh yeah, they were very worried about her.
Okay, so she's becoming unhinged.
Well, she has been unhinged for a while.
Well, maybe that's why that she's been up for 3 or 4 days straight, because she did something.
She has been unhinged. So she finally picks up the phone, and it's her friend Carolyn. And Dena is extremely calm when she answers the phone. And this is the actual dialogue when they interviewed Carolyn that happened right here.
Oh, hi.
Dena answered. Her friend sounded calm, collected. Thomas heard gospel music tapes from their church playing in the background.
What have you done to the baby?
Caroline Thomas asked.
I killed her.
Thomas paused.
What did you say? You killed her. What did you do?
Dena was taking a long time to answer.
I cut her arms off.
What?
I cut her arms off.
Dena, back up. Where's the baby?
Thomas demanded.
In the crib. She's dead. I cut her arms off.
All right.
Well.
So what did the baby do to offend her that she should cut the arm of the baby off?
This is the baby.
Oh.
This is a really fucking fucked up case. This is a case that no one else has covered.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I was wondering why at first, and then I was like, kind of.
Yeah.
This is the case that you don't even see news about today,
Jesus.
even though it's so fucked up. Because even the newspapers, they stay away from it. They're like, no fucking way. So, what's going on right now? Dena has been listening to church music, and her friend calls. She can hear it in the background, and calm and collected, she says, I cut my baby's arms off. She's dead. She's in the crib. She says that to her friend, Caroline. So obviously, Caroline calls the police. Now, this is the baby right here. The baby is the victim. The baby is dead. 11-month-old Margaret, everyone called her Maggie, Schlosser.
Poor Maggie.
She's so cute.
Go back to Dena right quick. Take a look at her. Why do you think she would do this? And why do you think, what's wrong with this woman to do that?
Maybe she was suffering from postpartum depression and she was having a psychotic episode or a depressive episode or something happened. Maybe the baby was crying and she just couldn't take it anymore because of that. And she wasn't, in her right mind state or a normal mind state.
Police arrive at the house and they find Dena. Dena answers the door. She's calm, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Why are you guys here? I mean, I enjoy your company, but why are you guys here? Ma'am, we've had a very disturbing call to come check on your baby. Dena allows them in. Yeah, come on in. Thank God. Praise God. She keeps saying that. The police get there and Dena goes back and she just sits down at the computer table. And the whole time they notice she's humming along with this church hymn that's actually playing through the whole house. The police officer who walks into the baby's room, into the baby's crib, the crib, you can't even see the bedding of the crib. It's a pool of blood. I mean, all the blood in this 11-month-old baby is out. It's a baby. It's not a full-grown human. I mean, all the blood that it had produced is now out of its body. It is dead. So obviously for the officer in charge, I mean, this got to be just the most harrowing scene he's ever seen in his life. I'd quit after that.
Yeah.
I probably would too.
I mean, I've seen some shit too, but nothing to do with kids or babies.
I'd probably vomit as soon as I saw that
Yeah.
and then quit and walk out.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't get paid enough for this shit. That's probably what I would say.
it's not just that her baby was bloodied and the crib was bloodied. He walked in there and the baby was armless. Both the arms were taken off the baby like you would do a Barbie doll.
Like by hand.
No, by a knife.
Okay.
By a 9-inch kitchen knife. And the way that the officer found out it was a 9-inch kitchen knife that Dena had sliced her baby's arms off with is because he saw that on Dena. He actually thought it was just resting there, but the knife was actually jammed into Dena, the mother, into her shoulder, all the way down to the hilt. It was jammed in her own body. And remember, she answers the door calm, like nothing's going on. She's still humming hymns. The officer sees this, 9-inch, that is a freaking monster, man.
Yeah, that's a big knife.
That's a big knife. That's ones that you would cut like a steak or something with, like bigger than that. Mm-hmm. I mean, think of the biggest kitchen knife you have in your kitchen right now. That's what she used.
Yep.
And that knife was protruding out of her shoulder.
Jesus.
So, if you want to read this, Nicole.
Dena went to a kitchen drawer, pulled out a 9-inch knife, and walked into the baby's room. While gospel music played, she cut off Maggie's arms. The infant flailed, suffering 50 cuts on her face. Then Dena stabbed the knife deep into her own left shoulder.
Yeah, this one's fucked up, isn't it? Case is fucked.
Yeah.
So, what? I mean, I guess we'll find out later, but what was her original plan, to say that someone attacked the baby and then her? Or she just...
Doesn't seem like she cared.
Or she tried to cut off her arm, like that Bible verse said, because she killed her baby.
Well, I'll tell you in a little bit, but she tells the judge that, quote, I had to do it, end quote. So, I mean, she's not saying someone did that. I mean, who is going to break into your house and cut off your baby's arms like that?
Hopefully no one, but
that's
you never
what I'm saying.
know.
Like, she obviously did it, and she's got the knife sticking in her. She's obviously in a psychotic episode or something, okay? If you want to read this, Nicole, this is from the Officer Tilley. He was the responding officer, and unfortunately, he's the one that found it. Excuse me, he's talking about the baby here.
She had an ashen gray look. There were no arms, and there was a lot of blood, Plano Police Officer Tilley said.
So he noticed that Dena didn't look like she was all there. She was polite, but she looked extremely dazed and confused.
Did she even realize what had happened in this conversation with the police officer? Or was she like, yeah, I killed him, of course.
I mean,
like,
she's got a 9-inch kitchen knife sticking out of her shoulder. I don't know how
and
much.
She's not displaying any pain either, which is really...
She's humming a hymn.
Right, but she's like... You wouldn't know that, right? If you couldn't see the knife in her, you would never know because she's not displaying that she's in pain.
No, she's not. She was nice to the officers, offering them tea or whatever.
I'm just painting the picture of her, or trying to understand her state, which is like calm, cool. She's answering the phone with the knife in her when her friend had called.
When she was read her Miranda rights, she kept repeating a few phrases, quote, praise God and thank you, God, end quote. She kept repeating that over and over while she's being read her Miranda rights, which it seems like, what's the point of even reading her rights? She's not even in her right mind right now.
Well, you just have to do
I know,
it.
but it's like, and plus you just saw the most harrowing scene ever. I don't know. A few days before this happened, now this was November 22nd, 2004. A few days before, and this is a little teaser, I'm going to get to why this happened, but a few days before, her and her husband, John, were at an electronics store, like a Radio Shack. And he picked up Maggie and kind of wooed her, you know, and kind of like flayed her arms a little bit. And he said, quote, little arms, kind of like, you know, picking her up, little baby arms. And that was also stuck in her head, along with Matthew chapter 5, verse 30. Now, let's move on past the murder because we had to get through that. I'm not going to revisit that, but only briefly. I'm not going to go through the autopsy and all that stuff. I will say right quick, just to finish that up, because it's obviously pretty brutal. Oh, you already said that. She had 50 cuts to her face.
Yes.
Okay. I was just making sure. All right. So let's move on. So let's no longer talk about that because that is really terrible.
It is terrible, especially like, I mean, I know we've talked about child murders before, but like, especially an 11-month-old has no understanding of what's happening. You think that your mother's going to come and console you and pick you up. And then all of a sudden this is happening. Like, I mean, Anna.
So Dena's background goes something like this. At the time of the murder, she was 36 years old. She was actually working at a daycare.
Wow. That's frightening that she was around other children frequently.
Yeah. She had a very unhappy childhood. Her mother divorced when she was 5 years old, and she developed hydrocephalus. Do you know what that is? Mm-mm. What's the word hydro mean?
Water. She had water on the brain.
Yeah, water on the... Yeah, tell us what that is.
There's like there's like extra fluid up in her head, right? Isn't that what that means?
So she had hydrocephalus at age 8, and it took her at least 8 surgeries that I saw.
Wow.
And she had implant shunts in her brain, head, and abdomen all before she was 13 years old.
Wow.
So we're going over Dena's background now, and you can tell me, you know, why she did this and why she did this. But she had the shunts inserted into her brain, which means they had to shave her head, which means she's ridiculed at school. relentlessly because she's got a shaved head.
Did they not give her like a wig? Or could she not because she had the thing sticking out of her head?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that works. But she was, I didn't see where she was bullied, but she was picked on and kind of ostracized, which is terrible.
That is sad.
She fell close to her mother, extremely close. That was her confidant. And even right before the murder and you know, into her middle age, she was constantly getting the mother's advice. And I also need to mention that the mother, I don't know if she's still alive, but around this time, she developed Parkinson's disease. So that was a stressor in her life as well. The mother, quote, fiercely loved her daughter. As far as her academics are concerned, Dena was a good student. She attended Marist College in New York, and that's where she met her future husband. And this is this asshole right here, the fucking spawn of Satan. This is Dena Schlosser right here. They met at Marist College. Dena graduated with a degree in psychology. John did not graduate at all. In fact, his family paid for his entire tuition, and when family and friends came to see his graduation, they found out that he hasn't been attending college for the last several years. He's just been keeping the family's paycheck.
Oh, wow.
Like a fucking idiot. He was going for I mean, look at this asshole. I just want to punch that guy right in the fucking nose. Shit. I mean, fuck this guy. You're about to see why, but
I was going to say, we don't know anything other than he's married to someone who murdered her baby, so.
Oh, this guy's this guy should be locked up. Anyway.
Was he not? Because that looks like a mugshot.
Could be, yeah. No?
No, I mean, he's not locked up.
Okay.
Now, like I said, he went to college for computer science, and he told his entire friends and family list to come down and see him. He was going to fake a graduation somehow.
It's kind of like the Jennifer Pan story.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And this is a quote from one of the family members who was paying for his tuition. Quote, "We paid his tuition, but he never attended class and was dismissed for academic reasons. For John, appearances are more important than substance." It says here that Dena Schlosser declined an interview through his attorney, of course. He does get a job, though, but he gets a lot of jobs before he stops taking jobs. But he lies about his degree. He says he's a computer scientist, right? And actually, once she graduates from New York, Marist College, they're living in Illinois. Then they move to Fort Worth, Texas. He actually gets a job in the year 2000, a job making $130,000. He's like the head of the IT department, which is good.
Yeah.
For someone who lies about his college education.
Yeah.
But I mean, how long does that last? Once you figure out, hey, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Let's check his credentials. Oh, wait, he just lied. Let's can him. That's exactly what the family was going through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, did his wife realize that he had
good question. Yeah.
She has to.
Well, I mean
was he deceiving her as well?
No, she ain't an idiot. I mean,
maybe she is.
Well, I believe she is, but she ain't. I mean, she ain't that blind. You know what I'm saying?
But I was wondering if he told her that he graduated, or.
Yeah, I think that's a good question for sure.
They start having a family. They have two daughters. Now they have three in total, and then the baby gets murdered. But they have two daughters before that. And at this point, finances are tight because they're living in Fort Worth, Texas. And Dena, even though she has a degree in psychology from a good university, she quits her jobs repeatedly. For instance, she worked at Visa, but she quit because a customer was rude to her. I mean, do you ever quit BJ's because of that?
I mean, we all know that I'm still employed by BJ's, but there are times when...
You just quit? I mean, you got two daughters and a husband to take care of.
There are times when, sure, you may want to, and I can say I've definitely had those days too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't do it if you got a family.
Correct.
She then gets a job at TD Ameritrade, but she quit because a client lied to her. TD Ameritrade is the investing kind of company.
Yeah, like TD Bank. Yeah.
She also worked at a nursing home, but she quit because she got offended.
Oh, she sounds very sensitive.
Very sensitive, yeah. All right. Now,
So it sounds like she needs a job where she can't interact with people.
yeah, it's called a prison cell.
Or, I mean, she could, work on computers like her husband. I'm just saying, like, if you can't really, how are you going to get offended by, like, a computer? Like, if Siri talks back to you, like...
Okay, so tell me, why do you think she did this? Why do you think she murdered before I tell you the reason? Is something unique. It's not because a mother might go through psychosis, but usually she's not going to cut off the baby's arms.
Did he drug her?
No, he wasn't even home.
Well, you said that he was an evil human, so I'm trying to figure out how he's involved.
Well, he is evil, but that doesn't mean he did anything.
Well, I gave you my guess that he drugged his wife that she would do things.
He did convince her to get off her medications. That's one thing he did.
Did she get offended by the baby and then had her gospel, like, did she feel like God told her to kill her child, to sacrifice her child for him? Okay,
so the motto with this family and with the friends they hang out with basically goes something like this. When life has you down, when life has you getting fired from your job, when you have no money, when you have 2 babies to feed and you can't, when your husband is worthless and he's lying about his job and he's turning down good paying jobs because it doesn't suit him. He's too good for that. When all this stuff happens, you have to put your trust in God, because the reason all this is happening is because you don't have any faith. That's what they believe. Okay. And a neighbor had introduced Dena to this guy. This guy right here. So we're going to kind of go through this guy's background. This is a trip right here. This guy's name is Dole Davidson. He is currently 89 years old, but he is way past his due date. And you'll see why. This guy needs to fucking die yesterday.
It's terrible. You mean his expiration date? His due date?
Yeah. He would be very overdue if he was in...
This guy is the worst fucking human.
Worse than the husband?
Yeah.
Because you already gave that title to the husband.
Okay. He runs a church.
Uh-oh.
Like a righteous gemstones type church.
We need to watch that show.
So do you remember there was a church in New York that we did a story where...
Yes.
I can't remember anything about it, but it kind of, remember also we did a story on this guy named Mike Ryan that had a cult.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was one of my favorite. Farmageddon.
This guy is sort of like
I just remember being so drunk and talking about sheep and being like, I
was going to say, like, when you said Farmageddon, I remembered that, but I don't remember anything about the story.
We were all wasted. It was a good time.
All right. So if you guys are on YouTube, so let me describe this guy for you. Go ahead and try to describe. I know it's kind of a blurry picture.
He looks like an old man who wants to steal your money.
Your soul.
Curmudgeon.
He looks like Krampus. Isn't that Irish demon god?
He also kind of looks like Herbert the pervert.
He does. Krampus is the demon Santa Claus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the little elf, right?
Yes, the Christmas elf, but not like Mr. Hanky, the Christmas pig.
Right.
All right, this guy is a trip, man. You're going to love this guy. He runs this church right here called the Water of Life, which I put in my notes. This may not make any sense. I was trying to make sense of Water of Life. Like what? Yes, your body is 70-something% water. Is that what he's going with?
I mean, it could be like, so the high school that I went to was called Fontbonne, and it meant good fountain. It was a Catholic school.
Water of Life.
Like it could be a tribute to
I feel like all these
baptism.
Could be baptism. It could be
Or it could
the
be
Our Lady of Lords.
Oh, yeah.
The stream. What is it? The Healing Waters in Lourdes, France. I don't know.
It could also be good marketing. A lot of these churches nowadays, they'll use this.
Wait, do they have their own branded water bottles?
No,
It's like Evian for your soul.
he's not that much of a hustler. I would though.
You get like the fanciest like glass bottles.
Yeah,
I
it
would
would be like
literally-
the Fiji of.
But I would literally fill them up in the church water fountain because I mean it's coming from the church, God's house. You know, it doesn't have to be special. Just it's coming through the church.
But that water is special.
That's what I'm saying. And I would charge like $7
Can
a bottle
you drink
for
that
it.
water?
Well,
Isn't it
Church
salty?
fountain water?
no.
No, I'm
You
talking
can't-
about the
hold on.
water fountain of the church.
Like the bubbler.
No, like the
No,
regular
like,
water fountain.
where you bless
No,
yourself.
that's holy water, and that has chrism in it, so you cannot drink it because the chrism is one of the baptismal oils.
Chrism.
Yes, it's.
I was like, isn't it salty? I couldn't remember what was put in
it has chrism in it. Has a holy oil.
You mean-
So
blessed
you
oil.
can't drink it.
You mean urine? Somebody.
No,
I remember
oil.
peeing in the when I got baptized. I peed in the pool.
Weren't you like 10 when you?
Yeah, but I remember.
But I feel like Southern Baptists and Catholic baptisms are different. Like
You're a baby
you're
in
like 6 months
Catholicism,
old
yeah.
when you're a Catholic, but when you like in Baptist church and I don't know Southern Baptist, like don't you get baptized when you are old enough to like accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior? Like don't you have to say that you do that?
Yeah.
It's like the equivalent of our communion in time frame.
Or kind of more like confirmation, I feel like.
I just did because I mean you can't be the only one in the family not baptized. That's not a good start.
Well, you were so young, you didn't really have a choice.
No, yeah, but you either. I mean, my
You didn't
family.
have a choice.
My family doesn't listen to this, but you either believe or you don't. And even back then, I was just like, "What are these people fucking talking about?" Holy shit!
I'm sure you were.
No,
There was no choice. Which is fine. Like there wasn't. Not that I regret my upbringing by any means, but you know, and I still probably would have done it if it meant making my family happy.
the Water of Life Church with Dole Davison. Dole.
DOLE.
Doyle.
Doyle.
Doyle?
Oh, Doyle. Oh, Doyle rules.
Doyle rules.
Oh, Doyle rules. What was that, like Adam Sandler?
It
or something?
was Billy Madison.
The Water of Life Church. If you are experiencing misfortune, disease, job loss, bad weather, miscarriages, which Dana actually went through 2 or 3, postpartum depression, or let's say you know your car breaks and you need to get a new car. That's only
This
caused.
is oddly specific.
You know, it
Maybe I
reminds
should
me.
put some of the water of life in my gas tank.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, so I narrate these Christian audiobooks by this dude, and a lot of this shit is point on point what I narrate in these fucking books, right? It's all about this. But anyway, if you have any of these misfortunes in your life, now this is what Doyle talks about.
Doyle.
Still to this day. If anything is going wrong in your life, anything, there's only one reason for it to be happening. Do you know what that is?
You need to donate more money to your church.
You're infested with demons. Shit.
That's a terrible image. That's very frightening.
It was a Giphy, and they were like smiling, but
Oh my god, that's terrible.
I couldn't get
That
it
is
to work.
creepy.
I don't like that at all.
If you
know what I don't like especially is that I know it's supposed to be rock, but it almost
looks
looks
like
like
a
it's it does
brain.
look like a brain.
Yes.
Yes, that's what.
Oh shit! It
Yeah.
might be a brain. You got a demon on your
Oh,
brain.
maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
I didn't notice that. I want to put the Giphy up there. It's like they're smiling,
No.
and he's like moving his hand down closer to their.
No.
Stop
Just
it.
kidding. That's not it.
Ah.
All right. One of the members of this Water of Life Church says God helped him through tough times. His car broke down and he wanted a new car, but the exact car he wanted was a white Pontiac with red interior. And God actually showed him that car. Fucking crazy. It's
On
like this.
Carfax?
It's like The Secret, you know? That's secret?
Oh, well, that's all I haven't manifested for a new car yet. Actually, the day before it broke down, I was literally having a conversation in the car with my friend. And I was like, I need to get a new car. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, it died on Dorchester Road.
But you cannot manifest anything. You cannot manifest good health. And this is literally word from those audiobooks I narrate. I'm telling you. I'll have to let you listen to it. You cannot manifest these things if you have a demon in you. And for a woman, there's one specific demon. If you're having ovulation problems, or if your husband's cheating on you, or you're not good in the kitchen or in the bed, and your husband's getting it elsewhere, or you're having miscarriages, or you're depressed, or if you're just a woman, that.
Go on.
Yeah, I thought he was going to end it right there. I was like,
He's
wait a minute.
okay, he's still got more.
Wait a minute.
If you're just a hysterical woman, it's because you have one specific demon in you.
Who dat?
Jezebel.
Jezebel's a female? I thought Jezebel was a male.
Jezebel.
Mm-hmm.
And she's actually pretty hot. Jezebel.
Well, that's how you tell her enter your soul, apparently.
Not my soul, into your soul. She only gets into females. Oh, who you're looking at is Jezebel. She looks like the girl from Aladdin.
Jasmine.
Jasmine. So she's a seductress. Jezebel was the wife of King Ahab. She is wicked. She is seductive, and she manipulates men. And the way she does that is she enters a woman's body. So let's say you're at church, and this is a real thing that happened at Water of Life, and the preacher's up there talking about. I'll show you what he's going to talk. There's videos.
Oh God!
There's no way I can preface what he talks about.
It's just this isn't Pentecostal, is it?
No, this
It's
is
the Water of Life Church.
I think it's
I know.
non-denominational.
I think it's
Didn't
technically
know if they were
Baptist.
going with like a speaking in tongues type thing, being overtaken by spirits.
There are some tongue speakers in this church, but anyway.
Okay.
If let's say you're in church and you're 80 something years old, and you're up there preaching the God's word, and you're looking and you're looking at your congregation, which is nothing but demons, and a woman in church comes up to you and wants to bed you.
Right then and there?
It's because...
Wait, what? What kind of church is this?
It's because Jezebel had
Sounds like
entered
John's kind of church.
I know.
her body, and that is Jezebel.
Is that why they call the bar in Handmaid's Tale Jezebel's, maybe?
I think so. It's a very there's like a lingerie line named Jezebel.
Oh.
Like
There's a news
underwear.
news website, Jezebel, too.
Yeah.
So Jezebel was the wife of Ahab, King Ahab, the king of Israel. According to the book of the Kings of Hebrew, the Bible, Jezebel, along with her husband, King Ahab, instituted the worship of Baal and Azareth on a national scale. So I talked a lot about this, Baal. Worshiping.
B-A-A-L.
Yeah. So this is Jezebel. So this is Jezebel. What do you guys think? Now, this is we're off the murder, so I'm done with that. But I do want to kind of branch into Doyle and his life, because his pretty interesting. And this guy is one of the reasons you'll see why Dena went insane. Anyway, going back to the little arms again, this isn't going to go too gruesome, but this will explain why she did it, her motive. If you want to read this.
I have a trivia question.
Go ahead.
Yes.
In the song That Thing by Lauryn Hill,
That thing.
what does she say is the sin that did Jezebel in? I don't have the answer.
You don't have the answer.
What the fuck? That's fucked up.
I'm like singing the entire song in my head.
No, because at one point she goes, and that's the sin that did Jezebel in.
I don't know.
We'll answer it next episode.
That thing. It's such a good song.
It
Lauryn
is.
Hill's a great singer.
She is. She was part of the refugees.
Mm-hmm. The Fugees.
The Fugees. Yes, the Fugees.
Little arms. Dena had to overcome the Jezebel spirit by making a new start. She was incomplete. Parts of herself and her daughter would combine to be whole. God would heal them. Doyle could marry Maggie then.
Doyle, the 89-year-old guy.
Wait, he's 89 today or then?
No, he's 89 today, but this was... He
2004,
was
so 17.
70.
He was 70.
He was 70.
Maggie is the baby.
Maggie's the baby. Like on Simpsons, Maggie, the baby.
Yeah, right, got it.
Dena, the mother, thought that Doyle would marry Maggie. This is exactly what it says.
Well, Herbert the pervert is appropriate for him then as a descriptor.
What? Because as you'll see, as we'll watch the church congregational videos, because he was a TV evangelist and he still is, even though no one fucking listens to him.
Are you kidding me?
Like the 700
What do you
Club.
mean?
He's like still on TV?
Yeah. What else is he going to do for money?
Be in fucking prison?
Well, he
should
didn't
be in
kill
jail.
the child.
He didn't kill the child.
He's clearly a perv.
But he didn't.
Put him in prison.
It's not a crime to be a pervert.
I mean,
Just to act on it. That's a crime.
Right. He's never acted on it.
not that there has been
Not that-
evidence
yeah.
for. Apparently, I don't know.
But as you'll see in the congregation, there's not many people attending. Okay, and you'll see why, because he.
Well, that's good. I'm glad it's not a successful church.
But both John and his wife, his property, Dena.
Oh God. Yeah, nice correction.
They attended this church and they were well acquainted with Doyle. They were, they knew each other very well and the reason I say this, once the murder happens, Doyle acts like he doesn't care. And he says, I barely knew them anyway, which is total bullshit. Doyle actually told her also to get off her medication. If you want to read this, just start over if you don't mind.
Little arms, Dena had to overcome the Jezebel spirit by making a new start. She was incomplete. Parts of herself and her daughter would combine to be whole. God would heal them. Doyle could marry Maggie then. The baby would be gone. The baby John hadn't wanted. And John would be happy again.
So
the husband didn't want this baby.
What you just read was from the Dallas Observer, but this is from the Washington Post. Quote, she felt she was basically commanded, in essence, to cut Maggie's arms off and her own arms off, which that's where the knife comes into play, and her legs and her head, and in some way give them to God, end quote. Now, God, you know how they say God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit as the Holy Trinity? Mm-hmm. It's actually a square. God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and then Doyle.
Oh, okay.
They're all one and the same. Doyle is a prophet sent to Plano, Texas. He is God. God is in him. He was sent to Plano, Texas to rid it of demons.
This sounds like very similar to Joseph Smith in the Mormon church.
This is still on his website. You could see all this shit. He still has it on there that he's a prophet. In fact, his Twitter, that's only got 150 followers, says that he is a prophet. That's what it says. I'm a prophet.
I'm a prophet.
Mine says that too, but I'm, half joking. In 2004, Doyle announced that to the world that God has given him a wife, a new wife. I mean, he has a wife already, obviously, that he's been married to since he was in college, but let's not talk about her. Her name is Patty Tinkle. She's also fucking crazy.
Can we call Luna that, please?
Tinkle. Tinkerbell, that's your nickname for it. That's going to stick.
Yeah.
In 2004, God has sentest thou a new wife. And he says this on live television, which we're about to see.
Oh my God.
Okay. This woman, her name was Lisa Staton. And her husband actually both worked in the church for Doyle. So he announces this. The husband has no idea that he's sleeping with his wife. And this has been going on for over 10 years. But now God has finally said, you are supposed to be my wife. Even though he's got a wife. You know what I'm saying? But the wife he has, Patty Tinkle, is not his wife anymore because she has been infested with Jezebel, and he has tried for years to get Jezebel out of her body, but he can't. So God, and then he starts losing control of his congregation, trying to save his wife from a demon. And then God's like, okay, just forget it. Let's back up. New game plan. Just take this wife and let's kind of just start over.
So, I mean, here's my understanding, and tell me if I'm wrong.
Your understanding.
So he's saying that like his wife has Jezebel in her, and so he needs a new wife. But my theory, if you were going with this Jezebel theory, is that Jezebel entered the wife through his unfaithfulness. How could she? I mean, like, if she's being faithful to him, then how can she just have Jezebel in her?
It went something like this. Lisa Staton goes up to him after his service, and she says something to the effect of, I've only slept with one man in my life, and that's my husband, but I would love to sleep with you, or something like that. And then Doyle goes home and prays about it, and he actually has a Bible verse that he quoted saying that says, this right here means that I'm supposed to have sex with you. All right, I think about Doyle. This is the thing I hate, right? Besides all of it.
Besides all of it.
He takes the Bible literally, okay? And he says he's not sorry for that. And that's why, if you have mental health disorders, no, you don't. You just have a demon, because the Bible, they didn't talk about psychosis in the Bible. They talked about demons in the Bible. So if you're taking the Bible at its face value, yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so he's one of these guys that doesn't interpret it, which is bullshit, because everyone interprets it unless you can read fucking ancient Hebrew Semitic text. You fucking interpret it. Every translation is an interpretation. No one knows the Bible unless you can read it in its essence, a 2,000-year-old script in Hebrew.
Correct.
That is the
Everything
only way.
else is just a translation.
That is the only way you're not going to interpret it.
And that's interesting to me, too, because there's a movie that's coming out. I don't think it's been released yet. It's called 1946, and it actually talks about, I'm sorry, this isn't really technically related, but it is. It talks about how the one script from Leviticus talks about the word homophobe or talks about gay people, and it's saying that the way it was written was actually talking about a pedophile, and people turn that to gay, and that's why the reason that gay marriage and homosexuality is treated the way that it is because it was a
bad translation.
The one book that I was reading said that if you're a homosexual, you have a demon in you. I mean,
and it's all from, but someone didn't translate it right.
And so that's what that's what that movie is saying. So I don't know when it comes out.
No, I mean,
I'm
that's
interested in looking at it. Yeah.
The Bible may have said that you can't be gay, or who knows? No one knows unless you can read that shit and you are. I mean, because even today. The Hebrew, today, if you read English from Shakespearean times, things are a little different.
Yeah.
So even if you can read ancient Hebrew on today's perspective, is going to be a little different.
Yeah.
But
you have to Aramaic, I think, was the original.
But people take it like, I take it literally. I don't interpret it. But everyone interprets it.
I was watching.
Unless you read it as it is.
I was watching.
All right, let's watch this video. Dole Davidson is a drunk and his wife is a slut.
Wow, that's harsh language.
Now, his new wife.
His new wife?
Yeah, Lisa. Well, no, they're not married. In fact, she refuses. Well, she's an idiot too, but she says that nothing ever happened. I don't know.
And how old is Lisa?
She's like 40. She had kids and everything.
But she's significantly younger than him.
She was not an infant like Maggie.
No, she is a grown woman.
Just making sure.
Now, the belief that Maggie was Doyle's new wife, was that strictly Dena's, or was that Doyle's as well?
That's actually a really good question.
Yeah.
So the reason we're talking about his new slut wife is because Dena, while this was all going on, this was the culmination effect. So Dena was talking to Lisa, and Lisa was like, I'm having trouble with this. And then Doyle was talking to him, you're my wife. And I'll show you the letters to Lisa that he has on his website, talking about tell your husband if he touches your body that he's going to hell type of shit because I'm the only one that can touch your body. Anyway, this all culminated into the murder of Maggie. This was around the same time. So here you go.
He gave me a wife. Her name is Lisa. Are you ready for this? And Lisa's a slut.
Oh my God, he's calling her a slut.
It's on live TV. No one knew about Lisa before this.
Like the two people in the audience are like,
My wife is a slut.
How would you like for God to give you a wife that's a slut? Lisa is a slut.
Fuck.
what?
And you want to know who told me she was a slut?
Okay, I'm counting
God
3 now.
told me she was a slut. How would you like to have a wife? Take her to your party, your company party, with all your damn lying executives. This is my wife, and she's a slut.
How is this video? Like, how have I never heard of this video?
I mean, when was this taken?
How would you like
Because
to
he's
have a
like
wife
barely keeping his
that
words
God
together
gave you
back
that's a
then.
slut?
No, he's a fucking weirdo. He just rants.
No, he just sounds like
She's a slut.
He sounds like a grandpa that is, you know,
My
not
wife is
to
a slut.
make fun, but he sounds like he's kind of going through a little bit of dementia. He just sounds.
Yeah, he does.
He just rants.
He sounds off.
but but people love it.
And you know who told me that she's a slut? God.
Check out this. This is Heaven has a room for sex toys.
I suppose you ignorant people think that God has a room in heaven full of sex toys.
God has a room in heaven full of sex toys.
Maybe he does. I don't know.
All right, one more video of him just fucking berating the church.
Oh my!
I have to
God.
say, like, I don't think I could ever go to this man's.
Look, don't you mess with me, woman.
Oh my God. He's about to just fucking hit her.
You tried to squirm away from me.
Oh, who knows?
Oh,
There was-
come on. I wasn't trying to rape you. All right.
Holy fuck. Okay, so that's that fucking asshole right there.
Well,
Okay, so
She was, all right, so here's what happened.
I feel bad for anyone that stumbled upon that church and then felt they had
but
to stay.
why would they ever stay to watch what he was saying?
Why do people stay in cults, man? This is all it is a fucking cult. All right, here's some of the Lisa text. This is fucking entertaining right here. This he has this on his website. His website.
Today.
This is on his website? What is this doing on his website? A letter to Lisa.
All of his letters. There were like hundreds of these fucking things.
Dear Lisa, as you well know, I have taught you and the world that the Jezebel is a spirit that originates in a woman and operates in men as well as women. I received this revelation from the activities of a Jezebel from the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He taught me from 1 Kings about Jezebel, Ahab's wife, about how she walked in witchcraft, how she controlled Ahab's activities, and how she accomplished things through witchcraft that Ahab could not. This should explain to you how much the Jezebel hates a prophet of God. Lisa, this should make you consider what spirit is in you and what made you do the things against me that you have.
Now, Lisa is just as much of an idiot. Like, her response was like, oh, the devil's speaking through his tongue. And then I was like, I lost all respect for you. Because she actually gets assaulted by him. Assaulted. He
could be in prison.
So the culmination of the murder, he actually uses church funds. Well, actually, God had sent him the money. And he buys a home literally right next door to the Statins. Right? And one day he gets fucking drunk and he walks over there and he throws his body on Lisa and literally tries to rape her. Like, he's trying to rape her. And then the husband walks in the door, throws him off, and the police are called. And this is why I fucking don't like any of them. They drop the charges, the fucking assault charges. The only thing he was charged with is public intoxication. The 80 fucking year old man. Public intoxication, which he gets on live TV and says the Plano, Texas Police Department, it's not their fault. The demons came through them, and that is what these charges are about. These are fake charges from the devil. It's fucking crazy. So Dena was involved in all this shit, at the time. But anyway, if you want to read this one's...
Dear Lisa, you have been my wife from the foundation of the world. The Lord says that any man that hath touched you is a dead man.
He'll also write the husband, and who also worked in the church, and threaten him. You better not touch my Lisa, my wife, given to me by God. It's just fucking weird, man. Anyway, what do you guys think so far?
Okay.
I just feel like pastors can say anything that they want and
get away with it. Yeah,
it's weird. I mean, I don't mean to say it's weird or to offend anyone, but I feel like it's different from the perspective of like Catholicism to like pastors that are more secular. Like, I mean, obviously I am not trying to say, Catholic priests don't do any wrong. I am not trying to say that. We all know.
We know what happened in the early 2000s.
And I mean, in
early 2000s. You mean the last 2,000 years?
I mean, in some circumstances, it's still happening. There are still cases, and it's terrible that there are some priests that do that. But again, it's not all of them. But there are some, and it's terrible that those things have happened, or are happening. But it's different, I feel, from like the secular world where, pastors can marry and have wives and do things like that. And like to say that, okay, well, I have a wife, but God says that now this is my wife. I know that this is a different, and not all other, faiths do this, and not every pastor does this, but I just feel like it's just very different. It's a very different thing.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think? And we're wrapping this up, but what do you think happened to Lisa before I go on to some other things that happened before the murder?
She was possessed by Jezebel.
No, but as far as arrest and...
I feel like she was probably given a lighter sentence than maybe deserved because of her postpartum depression. She wasn't taking her medicine because she was directed not to.
The 11-month-old baby Maggie was born on January 9th, 2004. The next day, on January 10th, Dena, which you're seeing here, that's her. I know it didn't look like her.
Different hairstyle, for sure. Maybe she had a perm in that other picture.
The next day after her baby was born...
She still doesn't look 36,
I was going to say, I'm feeling real good about being over 30 right now looking at that. But
barely over 30. You're still 30.
Yeah, but she also...
I'm 30 and a half.
She also is infested with a demon. No wonder she looks older.
I guess demons age. I don't know.
I mean, a demon's like thousands of years old. All right. The next day on January 10th, so her baby Maggie was born on January 9th. The next day, she takes a pair of scissors and slits her wrist. Dena slits her own wrist.
Oh my gosh.
Not the baby's.
Well, the baby didn't have any
No,
wrists.
I know. A week after...
This is right after the baby's born.
Yeah. So...
the day after she gives birth to Maggie.
Sorry,
she
I missed
slits
that.
her own wrist.
So, yeah.
Gosh. Okay.
So a week after she slit her wrist, and obviously she was fine. They just bandaged her up. 1 week after she starts running down the street screaming, her daughter chases her 5-year-old daughter at the time, chases her mother on her bicycle down the street. Now she's running, speaking in tongues, yelling, a week after Maggie was born. Hello, CPS? Anyway, she's diagnosed as a psychotic. She is sent to Green Oaks Hospital. Now the baby
she has 2 other children.
Yeah.
Maggie is the youngest.
Yeah, so the other girls are 5 years old.
And they were fine. There were no issues when they were born.
All right, she goes to Green Oaks Hospital for 2 days. She's given Haldol and Ativan, which I was on Ativan. That shit's fucking crazy. Crazy good. Hit me up if you want some. She wasn't ready to be... No, I'm not. She wasn't ready to be released. She says, I'm not ready. I just, I got postpartum depression. I'm just not ready to be released. I don't think I should be released. But John, her husband, quote, prayed about it, end quote.
Oh,
And-
well, that gives you all the answers.
And then, quote, God brought you home, end quote. So she's released from the hospital. A few days later, she begs to go back to the hospital. I'm not right. Something's not right with me. There's a demon in me. There's something going on. I'm hearing voices. I'm hearing my dead grandma's voice in my head. I want to go back to the hospital. The husband, John, quote, prayed about it, end quote. God brought you home. CPS interviewed the children. The mom's suicide attempt was a, quote, devil's trick. Dena was supposed to be taking her medications. And in March 2004, so the baby's born in, January 9th? March 2004, she leaves in the middle of the night. She is found in a bathroom of an emergency room, screaming in tongues on the bathroom floor. The doctor said it was psychosis. She was going through a psychotic episode. But John said it was just a demon, so he, quote, prayed about it, end quote. And then God brought you home. CPS closed their case for some reason. Ugh. After a water of life conviction, her friend Carolyn Thomas, the one that you guys read the dialogue from, was riding with her, and Dena's kids were in the back, the daughters. Dena was driving the car on the interstate. She closes her eyes. She starts hissing like a snake. Like
I'm a snake.
Fucking.
Yes.
I was like,
I'm a snake.
She's swerving on the interstate.
I'm a snake.
Then her friends like snap out of it. Snap the fuck out of it. She's also screaming and chanting, I'm stupid, I'm evil.
That's sad.
She killed her baby because she was 100% convinced that an evil spirit took over the body. The only way to get rid of it was to combine her baby's body's features, the extremities, with her own, and then be married off to Doyle. So she was attempting to cut off her own arms, and I believe she would have kept going eventually. I believe she would have killed herself because she was in that state, right? So that is the kind of the psychosis that she's dealing with. But she is off her medications because John, after he prayed about it, and Doyle, they prayed about it together, and they're like, well, I mean, there's nothing in the Bible that says anything about medications. You show me one thing that says anything about Ativan and Haldol, and I'll show you a demon. Okay? They told her to get off of it. She did.
she was convinced Maggie was supposed to marry Doyle. John didn't take it seriously. Later that day, according to a confidential CPS report obtained by the Morning News, John spanked Dena with a wooden spoon to curb her rebellion.
Okay, so we're finishing up. What do you think happened to Dena?
Tell us.
Tell us. Okay.
I think she is sent to an institute for the rest of her life.
She's working at Walmart?
Oh, yeah, you guessed it. Walmart. I was going to ask you what it was. Walmart. This is in 2012. She was actually fired from her job in Walmart because...
Talk about having to deal with terrible customers, though.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm surprised she's still there.
No, she's not. They fired her as soon as she she changed her name. Now, she gets arrested at first. She's put on suicide watch. She starts banging her head against the wall. She refused medication. The doctor said, you have intense depression. You need to take these. And then she said, there is no depression. Quote, there's only God, end quote. She starts hearing voices of her dead grandparents. She's saying that the end of days is coming. Now, she just severed off her baby's arm. She is saying nothing about that. Like, she isn't even aware. She is more concerned with the upcoming apocalypse that is happening outside of her prison walls. Like, it is fucking nuts, right? She is diagnosed with, quote, bipolar disorder and with psychotic features. She is initially first incompetent to stand trial, but she eventually did. However, they did a bench jury. I think that's what they call it, where it's only the judge decides the case. Mm-hmm. CPS returns the children to John for some reason. Doyle pretends like he barely even knew them at all, which was a lie. He actually, this is why I want to just cut his left nut off and feed it in his Patty Tinkle's mouth. That's
terrible. What did Patty Tinkle ever do to you?
This fucking shithead Doyle is the one who performed Maggie's funeral.
Oh.
That's probably the worst thing about this fucking case. I want to literally just...
I mean, other than the fact that her mother
sever off
murdered
his
her.
fucking nose.
That's pretty fucked.
Yeah, that's really fucked. The trial, actually, at first, they did go to a trial, but it was a hung jury. After the trial, a medical test found that there was an inoperable brain tumor on Dena. And it's just a matter of time. I believe she's still alive. I couldn't find any information on her state now. But another judge in a bench trial found her not guilty by reason of insanity. And the paper goes on, and the report I was reading at the time was in 2006 when she was put in the mental institution. And it said that she will most likely spend her life there. And that's kind of where I was going to end it. But then I was like, well, let me just make sure she didn't get out. And then the latest news was in 2012, she's not arrested, but fired for working at Walmart. She was actually going by a different name. Same first name, Dena, and then Lattner, Laettner is her new name. She was, right before she was fired from Walmart, recommitted again in 2010, but obviously they released her. And that's the story.
Wow.
She's out, and she's, honestly, it's one of those things where she wasn't in her right mind. It ain't her fault. I know it's fucked up to say, but a very fucked up case. I hated this freaking case. I don't know why I did it. Probably because no one else is going to do it. There's no new news about it. No newspaper will cover it. Literally, if you type in any case, even a case that happened 100-something years ago, like you'll see some blogs or something writing about it, and
especially with the new uptick in interest in true crime.
They'll be like, you go to the Google News, and there's something within the last year. There's no news on it because no one wants to fucking touch it. It's just too fucked. It's too fucked. It's just way too fucked.
It is definitely bad.
So, but that is the story of Dena Schlosser, and that's it, man. That's fucked. That is the fucking story.
Well, thanks, John, for that story.
You guys hated that shit.
There were some interesting parts. I hated that a baby died, but
anyway, that's the story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go to talkmurder.com. I'm putting all the photos, sources on there, and that's episode 248. We do episodes every Tuesdays and Thursdays. However, this week it is only a Tuesday episode. We are actually have a special project that we're doing that I'm going to be working on this week, but next week we'll be back to Tuesdays and Thursdays, so look forward to that. Also, if you want to support us, we do live videos every Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You can see us and talk to us on there, so go to talkmurder.com/join and become one of our Supremos, and if not, you can also go to YouTube and follow us there and see some of the clippets and everything. So anyway, if that's all, my name is John. Until next time, good night, you lovely, lovely people.